Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Carl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Carl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Carl way.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum, from the Wild Rose Casino Studio. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
All right, welcome to Williams and Blum. We are presented, as always, by Mechdyne, and we haven't done an on-location show. The last on-location show we did with our friends from Terraplex, I think.
Yeah, it was at the Agapalooza down in Des Moines.
Yeah, and that was like, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. Year and a half ago.
I think we did one with Wiffles.
Oh, we did. We did. We did the Wiffles one right before football season last year when they did their opening. Thank you, Aiden Wyatt, on location.
But this is hard to beat right here. I mean, nothing against our friends from Wiffles and
we got the Ames Lager. We're in like this Cyclone cave. We got
one of the better basements I've ever been.
We got Johnny Orr. We got a little Brock Purdy back there. Man is in the news, and we have the legend, Mr. Hansen. Thank you for having us out here.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. So we'll walk through it. We're gonna do some promotion of the Georges Niang annual trivia.
We gotta explain how we got here.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
Mark and Tina.
So we did a thing last year where folks could bid on hosting the podcast, and you won it, and here we are. And then we also did it with Alex Kaburski earlier, and he actually cashed it in on a CW pod with a Drake thing. Did you know about that? But it wasn't on Cyclone Fanatic. But we made money for the Georges Niang app. That is all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's right.
That's all that matters. But no, thank you for having us out to your home today.
Absolutely, love to do it. This is fun.
So, you've been. How long have you been around Iowa State athletics? Date yourself here.
Yeah, I mean, born and raised in Ames, so
you've seen it all.
Seen it all. Been around forever. 95 was kind of the beginning, when you got this assistant football coach from Iowa getting hired, and it's like, okay, we'll see. And I mean, McCarney comes into the community and just gets everybody all fired up and kind of get to know him and his family, and it just kind of takes off from there. You go from Tim Floyd to Eustacia. I mean, kind of all that glory time. So my parents were never big into sports. That was kind of that era where, that's a waste of time.
It was hard to be
working. And we'd drive by Clyde Williams, stadium, and my dad would be like, look at all them fools out there. Now I'm one of them fools out there in the freezing cold.
You're one
and all
of the
that stuff.
crazies.
Yeah.
I love hearing about those days because it's just like, and Brent has, that's why I think our show's always worked, because he's like the old school.
I'm not as old as Mark.
You're not old school.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
But you grew up on the hillside and doing all that, and I didn't. So I'm like a lot of our listeners that just went to college at Iowa State, and then you start to love it, right? You cannot give me shit for growing up an Iowa fan, because a lot of our listeners tell me that all the time. Like, that's why they resonate with me, because 2003 was, 2001 was when I first got exposed to all this stuff. But I love, and I've seen how much it's changed for me. Got a guy like you.
Yeah.
You've seen a total transformational, just in the city of Ames, and just not only the winning's great.
Facilities, community engagement, numbers, right? Like just the amount of fans.
100%.
Yeah.
I was, there again, your age, back in the day. I mean, we'd go there and my dad would have a tow truck out front. We'd have AAA and jump start cars or whatever. And you'd go in, it wouldn't even be halftime. And I'd walk up there and they're like, just go in, and you just freely come and go as you please. There was, ticket, no ticket, whatever, and sit wherever, do whatever you wanted. And it was, kind of the rap there for a while, why we were one of the top 10 tailgating teams, or
win or lose, we still booze.
There you go. Yep. Schools in the country, it was just great tailgating. Well, now everybody wants to be part of it. And I joke about that because my son's 28 years old, and, it's like you've seen a fraction of the heartache that I've seen. Believe me, your fraction of heartache is a blip on the radar of heartache, or just wanting. And I always thought back then, like 30, 40 years ago, it's like someday we could be relevant, or, you wouldn't just be somewhere and we're in something Iowa State and be like, oh, that's cute. What's Iowa State, or where are you about? Mm-hmm. And, where are you at? Coach Rhodes had told me that one time, you used to have to take like an atlas and stuff along, point out, this is Ames and it's not in Idaho. It's not what, we're in Iowa but you got somebody on the plane and you got them to Ames. He's like, then we got them, that for the most part, you could get them if you could get them here, but it was just getting them here.
Well,
and
we had a good chat before we went on here about how even this past year was a good reminder for everybody. Iowa State wins 11 games, yet there were times throughout that football season, like you almost get caught up in the heartache of even the loss. And you're like, wait a second, we almost pull back and go, look how far we've come since the 90s. And good reminder for everybody then.
100%, or, Sweet 16 or bust, or Elite 8, or, if we're not in the Final Four, it's disappointing. It's like, man, we're in the top 10
this is pretty good.
Virtually all season. And, we are not doing it again with the 5-star blue chip, McDonald's All-Americans all the time. We are doing it the right way, and the hard-working, Iowa tough, blue-collar way. And that's like the coaches we have and how they work. And so, I get it, and expectations are great, and we all want them and stuff, but
you guys will love this. So, softball team this year.
Turtles.
A lot of expectations.
There you go.
Turtles are 6-1-1 right now. We are in uncharted waters. We are perennially a program that right now is about 1-7. Okay, 6-1-1. Best player was gone for 2 games. We went 1-1 the 2 games that she was gone, and I lean over to my assistant coach that night. I go, now I know how Otzelberger feels.
Keyshawn's out, Kurt's out.
Virtually
what are you doing?
The same, right?
My leadoff hitter, my pitcher. Like, what am I supposed to do here?
Seat up. Why didn't you play Demarion Watson? Sorry, had to go there. But no, so speaking of basketball,
that's funny.
So obviously you guys are great supporters of the Georges Niang golf outing. What was and trivia night, which we'll talk about here momentarily. What was it about George that resonated with you guys, with you and Tina? But I'm guessing it's just because it's George, and here he is, and he does that with everybody.
And that's exactly right. I think anybody that even has had the slightest interaction with him, that's really virtually all you have to say. It's George, and then you can just like mic drop and walk away, and they're like, I get it, And again, going back and peeling the layers back a little bit, not to whatever, but our kids were virtually the same and all kind of in the same place. And you know what, a lot of people forget, and even now when they are getting paid and all that good stuff, they're 18 to 22 years old. Yeah. They're, we don't have a lot of Taman Lipsys and Fred Hoibergs that were born and raised. They're coming from, towns that I particularly forget just how small Ames is until you go virtually anywhere else and you go, holy crap, Ames is small.
Yeah.
And so now you're coming from Methuen, Massachusetts. You're coming from Alaska. You're coming from St. Louis, and you're coming down to little old Ames, Iowa.
Josh Jefferson's from Vegas.
Right. And it's like, holy cow. And so these guys and these girls and stuff, they have school, they have laundry to do, they have girlfriend and boyfriend problems or good things, and everywhere they go, somebody wants a piece of them and stuff.
That is so true.
We were able to kind of bridge a little bit of a relationship there where he didn't have to be Georges Niang. He could be the kids sleeping on that couch right over there watching them godforsaken Patriots.
B-19,
and,
right? Yeah.
And B-19 or playing Xbox with the kid and just like chilling out and stuff. And so it just blossomed from there. I've never seen anybody not be from Ames who cares more about Ames. You would swear he was from Ames.
He's so special.
There's no other way to say it.
I don't want to one-up you, but I've known him longer than you have.
Well, there you go.
No,
you're right.
Hear me out. I'm getting to a point that's not self-serving, I promise. When I used to cover recruiting when I was with, which service was that? Scout back in the day.
Scout.
And Niang was...
No, I think you were Fanatic then, by the way.
Was I with Fanatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, back when I covered recruiting...
I'm his own personal historian, apparently.
Right,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Been to a lot of...
Yeah.
When George was a recruit, I think he's the only recruit I've ever covered who, if he said he was going to call you back at a time, he would.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. He'd text me, hey, I'm in a student council meeting. I'll call you back at 7:15. He calls me at 7:14, like ready to go. And he always happy. And
He's still that way.
He was like that when he was 16,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing I love about him so much is when he comes back and he's walking around the tailgate lots or doing whatever, he is just George.
Right.
There's no posse around him. And he gives back. Like he truly, it's not financially like you guys are doing here.
Yep.
He gives back in selfies
110%.
and autographs for the kids. And like that is
Just being present.
And Brent, you know, with what you do for a
my
living,
gosh.
the value of that has built up all of this that we've been able to see.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's a great example to the current players. That's the part that doesn't get talked about a lot is they see, and we're going to talk about Tyrese and Brock here momentarily. But
got a lot going on with those boys.
Yeah, oh my gosh. But to that point, Tyrese and Brock, who do they see coming back to Ames all the time and developing a legacy far beyond their time in Iowa State? George. And so what do they want to do? Be like George.
Yeah.
It would not shock me. Well, Tyrese has already had some stuff around here. Brock's has had stuff around here. Both of those guys are going to do similar things to George. They'll never be George because George is one of one. They might have more funds to spend than George does now, which is great. But the fact that nobody does this, nobody has done this. George has come back to Ames now every summer for 8 years. He did it, C-Dub, when he was in the G League.
Yeah.
It's not like he didn't do it like I'm NBA George
That's the
Niang.
difference.
Yeah.
This guy makes him different. It doesn't matter. Even if he wasn't in the NBA now, people would sell this thing out.
100%.
People would show up because they want to support him and they know what he's doing to support the community.
That's part of it. We've got a couple open spots, right? So we want to sell out the Niang trivia and golf outing.
And we can't forget, I mean, it goes his mom and his uncles and that kind of stuff. I mean,
his mom she's the best.
The best.
Absolutely.
And
Adore her.
There's the foundation, and there's the person too that'd be like, you think for a minute your head's going to get big, mister? Like, no, I don't think so.
I'm assuming you've heard the story about when they got here for his official visit and she didn't have the credit card.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And they had to like figure out the whole way. I mean,
I just heard that actually. Yeah. Recently.
Salt of the earth. Just really great people. And I'm so glad that you guys are helping him with this because it's a big deal too. And it's not, to a lot of different people who he's helped over the years.
Yeah. And it's not just hey, I'm going to supply my name here and then you guys run with it stuff. I mean, we have committee meetings once a month that, per the schedule, if it allows. And unfortunately, he has a little more free time now than he'd probably like. But, I mean, he's on there. He's getting his input in.
So who are we helping this year?
The Bridge Home.
Okay.
The Bridge Home, yep. George's mission has always been he wants to keep stuff in Story County. And I mean, there are wonderful causes, obviously, everywhere, all about. But he always wanted to kind of focus on the community that gave to him. And so Ames, Story County, really want to try to keep it with those type of charities. The Bridge Home does actually serve 5 different counties. and I don't have my glasses, so I can't read.
Boone, Greed, Hardin, Marshall, and Story.
There you go. And actually here in Ames, they are building a new facility that is, so the Bridge Home is kind of what it sounds. It bridges people maybe that have fallen on hard times, are bordering on the homelessness, on, struggling with jobs, or maybe, needing some particular counseling or something to kind of, get right again, with the world. And the Bridge Home supports that and supplies those type of needs for them. And so
really cool.
So they're building a new facility where, they kind of have their own room and their own privacy, and you're not just kind of dumped into some area maybe that wouldn't be, as accommodating or safe. And so
we've got spots available for both trivia night.
Yes.
So the trivia night is on the July 24th.
Okay.
I'm emceeing again, so
That's
just extra entertainment for everybody. That's at Sukup End Zone Club. Honestly, really, really awesome night.
That was a fun night.
Because usually there's Iowa State, not only George and other potentially professional athletes that show up to that, but a lot of the Iowa State athletes are there too, and coaches, because everybody rallies around George and wants to be a part of it. Plus, it's fun and good food, good drinks, all the above. And then July 25th is the golf outing right down the road here at Ames Country Club. 11 a.m. tee off. I think there's a half dozen foursomes available. Honestly, one of my favorite outings of the summer. Mm-hmm. Plan on a long day. Yes. Plan on a long day because it's just a blast, and people have a great time and helps a great cause.
And I'm going to get retired. I'll just be you'll see me driving around in the Carter in the club.
Well, that's where you belong, pal. We love that. But I'm going to get. This is year 8 for George. He's got to be over $1 million in giving back to. It's got. Just doing my math here because it was a couple hundred. I think the last couple of years. So that's incredible impact for one person to do.
Absolutely.
For causes that. This is okay.
They don't get a lot. Like that's the thing.
A lot of these places, these groups are pretty small, and so to get a couple of $100,000 is a massive impact.
The majority of giving that George has done through this event is to places where I hear about them for the first time through his event, which is what makes it really cool. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great charities out there that we've all heard of, and they deserve support. But that the Story County thing, Central Iowa is pretty dominated by Polk County, right?
100%.
If it's not the Des Moines Metro, I think that's what I think is so awesome about all this.
Yeah. And almost immediately after this, we sit down and we brainstorm, and, we'll give them 8 or 10, ideas of just like what you say, maybe some of the more known types. And again, he does his research, he does his homework. Obviously, he relies on us a lot as well, and what we think, and it gets narrowed down. And it's just been a home run every time. And it's not all about the money, but let's face it, it's about the money. And like I say, what they end up getting, and again, 100% all goes back. There is absolutely
Zero
nothing.
overhead. Yep.
George doesn't keep anything. No one keeps anything. It is 100% back to the Bridge Home this year, and we would love to have you out. We have sponsorship opportunities available, of course. There is a sponsored dinner that will be hosted by George at Jethro's on Wednesday night, actually.
Okay.
And if you are a sponsor, I believe, of the $5,000 range and more, Tina?
Well, we can get all that. You use us.
Yes. Okay.
We'll do anything for you guys in this event. We'll get all that out.
And thebridgehome.org to get more information as well.
Cool.
For all of the events that we.
I'll bet you money that we'll sell this thing out for you from this podcast. I truly believe that this
you
golf
guys won't
outing
regret
get it's a
You
great
won't
day.
regret it.
I remember last year too. There were a bunch of NFL guys there. Like Kolar was there.
So funny little tidbit. So 3 out of the 4 that were there last year were all drafted. So we had Jalen Travis, Jalen Noel, and
Jaden Higgins.
Jaden Higgins.
Yep, those guys came too because they were.
And Bo Freeler was there. Who he's no.
When I was walking up, I heard somebody. He won't care. Swearing at me, calling me some derogatory names. It was Brett Meyer. Him and Sage played.
Yeah.
Like it's a who's who. It's so much fun.
I think the great thing is again George transcends just basketball. He's Ames. So
he is basketball's McCarney.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually
that's
a good comp.
Only I say that it's not all about like how many games did you win.
That's not disrespectful to Johnny. Up here.
No, Johnny was just too early.
Yeah,
where he didn't get to reach
For you
enough.
young guys.
He didn't. Johnny didn't get to reach enough people. And God willing, Mac's going to be here for another 30 years. Okay.
Yeah.
But if Mac would have just gone off into the sunset when he was let go, it wouldn't have had the same impact. He's been able to be on podcasts and come back and do all these things where he has reached an entire generation of Cyclones that never watched his team play. George is about to enter that with Iowa State basketball, believe it or not. Right?
100%.
But this is a guy who, he's
bigger than just his career at Iowa State at this point.
When we go and talk to our kids' classes, and I say, who's your favorite Cyclone? They all go, do you know who Brock Purdy is? Or do you, they don't even know who George is, right?
Right.
I'm just, his contagious personality, his willingness to give back, his willingness to come back is very McCarney-ish, and he has that contagious personality that everybody wants to be.
And one thing I will say, and again, it's maybe fitting because it's with the bridge home, he has been a bridge, whether he knows it or not, between the Hoiberg era, the Otzelberger era, but I would just say Iowa State athletics in general. Let's be honest. When George left, there was a kind of a weird time in there when Hoiberg was going, Prohm came in.
Yeah.
You had the changeover on the football side. You had a lot of growth from the university side, but George was always just a constant. He was always there. And what I keep coming back to is he now sets the example to all the current players, all the recent players that have graduated. You will give back to Iowa State because it has an impact down the road. And that legacy, honestly, could be way bigger than his All-American career at Iowa State.
And the unfortunate reality is, I'm afraid that was the last of the era of the four-year player.
It's another great point.
George,
right.
Matt,
Great
Naz,
point. Yeah.
all those guys. And let's
we
hope
celebrate Taman and Milan and those guys.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Because we probably can't afford them coming out of the portal, but we hope that they love. And I think I stole that from you. Actually,
you're right, Mark.
You ain't getting that guy in the portal.
But you hope they embrace the community and the school and the fan base. And I mean, what other and I mean, we didn't get chose to go to Ireland just for some random. Hey, let's figure. They do because they know we're a bunch of psychos that will travel, and we'll go to Boise for crying out loud for a bowl game. I mean, we'll go anywhere.
Yeah. Goddamn right we will.
Right.
We'll go to Memphis twice.
Hey, right. Like every other year.
Three times.
Yeah.
We went to Memphis 3 times.
They all blend together.
And they kid you every time that the weather's going to be nice.
Yeah, it
and
never
it's
is.
not.
Hey, I love Memphis. I will
be
not
Mark
take...
and Tina in Ireland, though, right?
Absolutely.
You'll be over there.
Absolutely, 100%. So
Well, again, thank you for inviting us over here, and I mean it. It's not we'll do anything to help promote this thing.
Yes.
You know that.
Thank you for coming over. This is really exciting to see all the behind the scenes. So,
it's a really high end production.
But seriously, thanks for all you guys do for Ames and Iowa State, and it literally what I try and people like you make this whole thing go. I know we think it's the coaches, but without people that have been the foundation for Iowa State, we don't attract those coaches. We don't have the infrastructure to make it happen. So,
a guy. The perfect example is a guy like Otzelberger doesn't come back
because he has the relationships.
The reason he's here is because he wanted to get back to all the people.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just a reality. He had a pretty good thing going in Las Vegas.
Yeah, sure.
For
sure.
But so keep up the great work and appreciate you guys very much.
You bet.
Yeah. So that is again the 24th is trivia. The 25th is the golf outing. Stay tuned to the Cyclone Fanatic social feeds and whatnot, and we'll have links to all this good stuff where you guys can sign up. But I would guess that you could just Google the darn thing as well, and it'll just pop right up for you. All right, we're going to take a really quick break. Blum and I are going to be back from the Hansen basement. We're watching the PGA Championship. Oh, we got a 3 strokes now.
Scotty's
Rom's
struggling
within
a little bit.
My guy John Rom is within 3.
We're treading water.
And we're going to talk about the Wendy Wintersteen retirement. What does that potentially mean for Iowa State athletics? We are also going to discuss Brock Purdy's contract and Tyrese Halliburton playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Back right after this here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research, We can even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
All right, welcome back. Want to thank our presenting sponsor, our friends at Mechdyne.
How fun is this?
Oh, we need to do these shows on location.
Well, I mean, maybe the
Tina made this beautiful spread of food.
I feel like we.
The meat and the pickles are on point.
I'm gonna have dip and the cookies.
I had some dip too. The dip was fantastic. Cammie is going to be ticked because she went to her grandparents. She would have loved that dill pickle tray because she loves.
And
my daughter, I'm not kidding you, drinks pickle juice. She loves pickles that much. Yeah.
Those who know you are probably like, well, Chris is weird, so that makes sense.
Yeah, we're all
related.
We got the Ames Lager.
Yeah, hosted us well.
Mechdyne is our presenting sponsor, of course. Georges Niang golf outing. Don't forget, we will post a bunch of stuff about this. The 24th.
George on the show.
We will.
George on the show.
I'll get him. He was willing to do today, but I was like, hey, he was busy. I think Mark said he was in like San Diego, probably relaxing a little bit. I would think. I would hope so.
The Cavs could have used him. We talked about that.
What a terrible trade.
I understand what they were doing, but it goes back to say you just the intangible benefits of a Niang are impossible to know.
Want to give a shout out, of course, to our friend Colin Newell, Farm Bureau Financial Services.
Golf with him on Friday.
You did?
Yes.
This last Friday?
Yes.
How'd you swing the ball?
Great. Beat Colin. FYI, Colin.
You beat Colin?
Oh, yeah.
He's a Division I athlete.
Well, I mean,
Brock Purdy used to massage his rear.
I play well enough. I probably would have beat Brock Purdy, too. That's how good a golf I played Friday.
All that tea.
100%. Honestly,
Game day men's health.
Okay. They are a sponsor, but I would have said this anyway. I'm not trying to brag, but I literally am hitting the golf ball 20 yards further so far this year. Now, either
you're 40.
I'm 40.
Yeah, so it's not like you just hit this growth
and I played golf for a long. Yeah, and I didn't exactly look at me. I didn't grow taller. My levers didn't get longer here. But then I was downwind on a couple holes, which helped. Don't get me wrong, but no, I honestly feel like I'm a geek. Everybody knows that. I do the swing speed measurements. I've picked up.
Well, this is your passion.
I know. It's like you and dirt tracks.
Yeah, I don't judge you for. I camped at a NASCAR race for 3 days last week.
I mean, this is the best advertising for game day possible. I've added 10 miles per hour in my swing speed since November. Now,
Aiden, mark this. We need to send this to them.
Now, I did look it up. If you are considering joining the tour or any type of professional golf, I don't know if it might get flagged.
It's all natural.
It is, but I'm saying but for casual hacks like me, if you're playing in the Niang outing and you want to impress your partners,
if you want to impress Brett Meyer and Sage Rosenfeld,
then that's. But honestly, it was fun, but back to Colin, not just about my golf game. Which
did you guys talk insurance?
We did. He keeps growing. Teams keeps growing.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
We were at a golf course, and he ran into 3 different clients that he has.
I'm sure he did.
He's hiring another couple people, so
he's kicking ass and taking names over there at Farm Bureau.
He is a great dude, and FYI, Colin, I won by a lot.
It was a year from now when Aiden caused a flood in my basement. A year from this week, you know that? And Colin came over and helped me.
Not going to repeat.
Clean out the basement.
Ames guy.
Yeah, Ames guy.
I mean, it all connected. Colin's going to be around a long time, and he's going to be a pillar of this community.
Speaking of Ames guys, Chappie, let's give him some love when we're on it. If you are buying or selling a home, not only in Ames, but anywhere in Iowa, we got the guy for you, Andrew Chaplin from Hunziker. He's our guy.
Cyclone's helping Cyclone.
We have our own little community here on Cyclone Fanatic. We're losing a member of our community. Not in a tragic way or anything, but Wendy Wintersteen does announce on this week that she's retiring as the president. This is a massive thing, and it just has such a great impact on athletics. So that's what we're going to stick to. There's so much more to this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in higher education.
We understand all of that. We're not going to focus on that because that's not why the majority of you are listening. Now, we have a huge contingency of listeners and viewers who deeply care about Iowa State University. We're going to stick to the athletics part of this conversation. What is her legacy? You know this better than me. with your role. You've worked for Iowa State and the foundation via the Ivy College of Business, another one of our great sponsors. What is her legacy with athletics?
I mean, look at the success. She joined in 17. I remember because it was right in the. She got hired. Her first day was in the middle of that 4-game winning streak in 17, the Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas Tech, TCU streak. That's when she was hired. Literally, that was the
foundation of Iowa State football.
Yeah, and so what do I say that? Because she hasn't been super visible in athletics, but that's part of why she's been great for athletics. And this isn't a shot on any previous presidents.
Sounds like a shot at Stephen Lee.
It's not. I really didn't mean it to be that.
That's how I took it.
She basically said, Jamie, you're really good. You're the best athletic director in the country. You do what you need to do. We will help you as much as we can. But anything athletic related, she's been at women's basketball games her entire career at Iowa State, even long before she was the president. She's around. She never asks for anything. It's not like she needs the special status. Yeah. I think the world of her. I think she was the perfect leader for the right time, and huge shoes to fill. But this is a time for Iowa State as an entity.
This is an opportunity.
It's an opportunity just for the university, for sure, for athletics, but it's a trying time too, because we talked about the economics of what's going on in college athletics. I'll just say the economics of higher education are changing very rapidly. This is a big moment the next 6 months for Iowa State. So a little behind the scenes stuff. They will have a search committee through the Board of Regents.
Do we trust these regents?
I actually do.
Okay.
So
I don't know, but they get a bad rap.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know.
The people, the regents that are on, cause again, I know a little bit more than most. Not to say that I'm some sort of expert, but I know people.
I'm the idiot. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you just talk to a bunch of people at a bar, they don't really understand this. So walk us through what that actually means.
So the regents is a group of, I don't think there's 10 of them, 12 of them, appointed by the governor. It's supposed to be kind of equally divided between the regents institutions. So Iowa State, UNI. Politically agnostic, but
I don't care about the politics. The rap is that it's always been a Hawkeye board.
Sure. And here's the great thing. The people on the search committee, I know one of them.
Okay.
Quite well. And trust me, Iowa State's in good hands.
Great. That's all I needed to hear.
Let's put it that way. I don't need to name them.
Well,
but there are.
I needed to hear.
I would say on the regents now, there are people with Iowa State's interests in mind, and that they will fight for Iowa State.
That's fantastic.
It's not the 80s where Iowa State was the...
That's why I said they get a bad rap, because It goes back to that, and I've heard horror stories from the McCarney years.
I am encouraged with the people that will be in charge of the search process to do what's best for Iowa State. And these same people also understand the dynamics of how athletics helps the institution.
So this is where my brain initially went, because we started hearing rumblings that this was going to happen weeks ago. Mm-hmm. This actually was announced earlier than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that it came out when it did. What my mind initially went to, I did a CW pod on Iowa Everywhere last week where I talked about Mark's 3-year extension with the Big 12. And I'm frankly been pretty critical of the guy. For most Big 12 homer guys, like I'm a Big 12 homer guy. I don't like a lot of the stuff that he's done, but that doesn't mean I think he's bad for the league. I actually think he's very good for the league, because I think the league is in a position
you're going to have some misses when you
absolutely
swing for the fence.
Got to swing for home runs.
We're got high OPS here.
So he is, and my point is that you don't have to like everything the guy does to respect what he's trying to do. That's kind of where I hope they go with the president here. Right? Like Wintersteen seems very Bob Bowlesby to me, where she was like perfect for her time.
It's a great bridge.
Right?
Yep.
And she was awesome.
Yep.
I give her an A.
Yes. I'll go
from everything I know.
I'll say A+, honestly, for what she had. Because it's been a really hard time for higher education.
I give her an A. Yeah. You give her an A+.
I give her an A+.
I don't hand out A+, okay?
Well, I do.
You win a national championship, you get an A+. But I do think that this is an opportunity, though, at this specific point in time, with what you've told me about higher education, which that is above my pay grade. Yeah. I don't understand it, but I do know that international students don't come to the United States as much. Like, there's a lot of challenges out there.
I would just say it's not even everyone wants to go right to politics with higher education. I'm going to keep that over here. What I'll just say is there's a what they call an enrollment cliff coming the next decade.
because of the baby boomers and all that
The
stuff.
birth rate went down.
Yeah.
And so your number of students coming to college age is going to drop. What does that mean? Well, you're not having many students, but your market decreased. So you got to find reasons for.
There's a lot more higher education in Europe and stuff that there used to be.
Well, and then online too,
right?
Yeah, and then online's coming. Like,
yeah, you can go to like anybody can go to higher education.
This is why, again, I get too much in the nerddom of the economics and how athletics can help, but you need differentiators.
Yeah.
Like if I can go get the same education online or somewhere here, what's the difference of Iowa State compared to some of these other things?
So
it's the experience.
Am I being too brash by saying go hire your Brett Yormark, Iowa State?
I mean, the thing is about
not just athletics. I'm saying everything.
The thing with higher education is, and I would argue Stephen Leith was kind of the Brett Yormark.
Okay.
He really tried to get things going.
And frankly, his biggest problem, he wasn't likable.
Well, he rubbed some people the wrong way.
Yeah,
and then once
I had one encounter with him, and he was very rude. Like,
not even personally, but just like you make enough.
I met him once, and I didn't want to meet him again.
You make enough brash moves, and someone's going to get upset, and that can really turn against you when you start talking about faculty senate and all this stuff. But beyond that, I think you need somebody who's going to think. And I actually thought President Wintersteen was really progressive from some of the programming Iowa State's done in the last 10 years. And the
she was just a lovely individual. Everybody who talked to her liked her.
But I think the big thing for Iowa State going forward is find a leader that's going to fight really hard for Iowa State and honestly ruffle some feathers either at the state level.
But that's why I said Yormark, because he will ruffle feathers.
I think higher education moves really slow. It just does. It's just been and it's good. Because you don't want something that's just going to change really rapidly.
You don't want a brash decision when it.
But we're at a point now, athletics included, where you're going to have some tough decisions to make.
I think Spalding should do it.
Well, so the old joke was,
serious.
I ran into somebody
Spalding
last week.
Dean Spalding over there at the Ivy College of Business.
You're not the first person to float that.
Really?
Well,
he's perfect.
He's retired.
I don't care. I'm asking him to come out of retirement.
His wife, Marianne, is a lovely person. She would not like you saying
What's
that.
McCarney doing?
I don't know if McCarney knows about...
President McCarney.
I think McCarney knows about the faculty senate. Can you
we need to
him?
print McCarney for Iowa State president T-shirts. Can somebody write that down?
I do, but here's the point. I know there's a lot of paranoia.
Mark could buy one.
There's a lot of paranoia about the regents and everything. Knowing a couple people on there now, I think Iowa State's, at the very least, has people who will listen.
Am I being unfair? Like, again, I don't know a lick about this stuff, okay? Like, I'm not trying to push anything here. When you bring up the Board of Regents, people kind of snarl at you around Iowa State.
And I get it. And it's a weird system to begin with. Quite frankly, if I could start over and nobody's asking me, I think Iowa State, Iowa, UNI should have their own boards that make their own decisions.
Interesting, yeah.
Then that would make it a lot.
Well, it is difficult to lump UNI in with Iowa and Iowa State right now.
Because a lot of people don't know. And again, this has turned into a higher education podcast.
No,
here we go.
What else are we going to talk about?
Good point. Hey, Brock got paid. Congratulations, Brock.
We'll get to Brock. He's he'll be on First Take.
And for those that are asking, have I called him yet? Not yet, but I do have his numbers. Brock.
You have his agent's number.
That's a good point.
Let's be real.
I do have his wife's, his in-laws number.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's the best way to get to him. Yeah.
Anyway, the higher education wise, so many moving parts right now that on the Regents side, if Iowa State wants to raise tuition, the Regents have to decide that. But then the Regents have to equally raise tuition at potentially all, and they're not the same. We got to get to a point where, and I made
totally agree with you, Brent.
And then I would argue, back in when the Regents were formed, and I got to go look at the history, but back in the 20s and 30s of the 1900s, Iowa State and Iowa offered different things.
Land grant versus
medical lawyer,
and then you had
UNI with the teachers. School. Yeah, well, it's not the same anymore. I don't think it makes sense to have all three of these institutions governed by the same body because they're very different. I mean, the University of Iowa campus is way different than Iowa State. Their people are different. Now, I understand it's still higher education in the state, and that's that won't change in the short term. The point is, I think Iowa State, the leadership at Iowa State, would like a lot more ownership on decision making day to day.
How does a regent get? So you said it's appointed by the governor.
Yes.
So, do regents retire?
Yeah, they have a 6-year term.
Oh, okay. That's where I was going with that. So, how do we? Is it Is this like Chuck Grassley where you can just go until you're 200 years old? Like,
I don't know if you can get reelected into terms.
So based on the governor.
But it's the governor's appointees.
Okay. And then every 6 years, they could just reappoint the same person?
I don't want to overspeak, but I know it's 6-year terms.
Okay. Interesting. Well, this is really, I need to dig more into this.
Yeah, and honestly, the Board of Regents is going to have a huge impact on the future of Iowa State athletics. And I'll just, again, I don't get paranoid about it because there's a couple good people on there that I really believe.
I know of one new appointee that I really like, and
will have Iowa State's best interest in mind. Now, do they have the power to do anything? It's going to take more than just a couple people on the Board of Regents. Like, you're going to have to get
the guy at Iowa's pretty aggressive, right?
The president?
Yeah.
He's gone now. Harold? Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's a she now. It's a she now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just remember him from that band thing.
Yeah. Well, he didn't last very long. He was the old CEO of Boston Market. Remember Boston Market? If you wanted a rotisserie chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
No, that was his.
Seriously,
it didn't work out in Iowa for him.
What's you, Stacey?
Nothing to do with Boston Market.
I'd like to bring you Stacey and let him ruffle feathers.
So
friend of the program.
Now, a lot of people think, well, what's the number? Bring back
Tell
Visha?
me you wouldn't do a great job.
You think Larry, bring back Visha?
That's what I'm running on.
Bring back Williams. Are you interested?
I am declaring myself a candidate for presidency of Iowa State University.
Act number 1.
And I will bring back Visha, and you can buy beer at football games. I literally just
spill all over the Hansen floor.
On the Hansen floor.
You're going to get kicked
Something
out.
tells me that somebody's spilled on this floor before, so I don't feel that bad.
But really good chat.
I'm going to steal your napkin.
Yeah, I do think, this is an important time for Iowa State. New president will be appointed by January 1.
Okay.
So the search begins literally next week.
But they'll be named before that. And then,
so it'll take a while. So there's search committees. There's these things are high level stuff.
Well, point being, I texted our staff on Friday and I said, we need to cover this like you cover a sporting event because like the connection between this and athletics has never been closer.
I think the timing is difficult, but good at the same time.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because this is all, you're going to, again, this new president and Jamie too are really going to have to do something they haven't done a lot in regards to athletics, and that's do some lobbying here with the government.
Did you see all these sports betting ads that we're getting?
Well aware. Yes. Yeah, they are fighting the...
Are we moving policy?
I mean, I don't want to...
Every time I open an app now...
They do, it's been... I actually talked to somebody...
I feel targeted.
They're relentless. They don't want to raise... Hey, they don't want profits. By the way, can I... And
these people are ruthless.
So the sports books are running what Chris is talking about. They're running campaigns on the internet now that, hey, don't increase our taxes
because they know everybody's going to try and do this.
It'll hurt your experience, and they've got this in like 15 different states. So it's not just Iowa.
So they can't just give you these shitty parlays that you're never going to win anyways.
The point is, what they won't say, everybody, is it's not a tax on you. It's a tax on them.
Yeah, you're not
losing money.
No.
Now, will your specials maybe get reduced?
But you don't get those anyways once you've signed up. Correct. Like, they rarely give them to you anymore. That was such a 2020 thing.
So this is a message to the state legislatures. Would you rather give your money to your in-state institutions for the benefit of the state of Iowa, or do you want to give it to FanDuel and DraftKings, which are run by hedge funds? That's your choice.
I'm going to give my money to the Iowa State University.
I'm for it. It's all connected.
Williams for president. We're raising taxes on the sports books.
I think Brock Purdy's.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll get to that.
Help out.
Ivy College of Business, Iowa State University Foundation, of course. Go to movewhatmatters.com. One of our great sponsors has been for a really long time here. We couldn't do what we do without them.
Again, when there's dynamic change at the university level, one of the best things you're like, hey, how can I help?
Foundation.
You can really help.
Absolutely. So Purdy gets the deal. How many? I don't have it on top of my 6 years, 5 years, 250, 253,
but 185 guaranteed is the big number.
185 guaranteed, and we also have Tyrese Halliburton. I believe Tuesday night or Wednesday night, one of the two, starts with the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks, and that is going to be explosive.
Oh my gosh,
Tyrese, Madison Square Garden, Spike Lee. It's going to be incredible. And Brent, I don't give a lick about the NBA anymore. I really don't. Once they chewed up and spit out Hoiberg, like it was over for me. Tyrese is sucking me back in, baby. I'm an Indiana Pacers fan.
His playoff run he's on right now. I mean, it's reminiscent of what Purdy did.
The only thing better is that George is still at the Cavs and they were playing.
Well, honestly, I'm talking to Mark about it. Like the Cavs missed George. Yeah. I think the Cavs might, weirdly, I know they won in 5 games. Like it was pretty dominant by the Pacers there, but the Cavs lost a lot of leadership there. They looked kind of rudderless at points in that series. But the Pacers, a couple things with the Pacers. Not only Tyrese, Chris, they got some other Iowa involvement too. So Chad Buchanan, who's their GM, actually, they got a weird structure there, but their GM.
Rom just tied it up. Just so you know.
Tied.
Yeah, it's literally tied.
Holy smokes. Well, Rombo, let's go.
Johnny Rom, baby.
I can't root for the live, though.
He was club foot, baby.
I know. But on Tyrese.
My daughter had one, too. That's why I like him. There's going to be people listening to that. Be like, what in the hell does that have to do with anything? Yeah. He's an inspiration.
He was down for you.
Yeah.
They're going to think you're talking like club foot.
No.
He's in the club, baby.
My daughter was born with a condition called club foot, and John Rahm was too. And he's
the Hansens are getting the full Fanatic experience here tonight.
John has done a ton of fundraising for babies like that, and that's why we're fans. Even though he's a live guy, it's fine. I don't care.
Well, now
John Rahm.
The point is Tyrese is going to have a huge. And this is 2 years in a row he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals.
But this will be different.
It'll be different.
It feels
it's
like
New York,
and
I think they can. I think they can beat them.
I do too.
I do. Pacers are playing awesome. But anyway, Chad Buchanan's the GM there. Was an Iowa guy, graduated Simpson. He was my coach at the Mike Bourne basketball camps back in the day.
Wow, he got a great start.
I mean, look how I turned out.
Yeah, this is special.
But really good dude. They've done things in an awesome way. Mike Bourne. Speaking of Mike Bourne, he was a scout there, still is.
Yep.
And Iowa State guy. So there's a lot. It's more than just Tyrese with Indiana. So if you're still looking for a team to beat the big bad New York Knicks,
and Tyrese is long term there. So that's my biggest thing with the NBA. Where
he's not going anywhere.
I just have a hard time picking a team because my guys, like I just kind of root for wherever Niang is and wherever Monte is, and it's like it changes so often that it's hard to. But like I feel like I can buy a few Pacers hoodies,
and he's only 25.
Yeah,
like he's young.
And you got John Halliburton. I mean, come on.
Do you think John? Will they invite him to Madison Square Garden?
Unbelievable that guy cannot come back in. I mean, all he did was get in Giannis's face. That's not that big of a deal.
Him and Spike Lee.
Unbelievable. Oh God, that's theater.
We need entertainment. We need content. No, happy for Tyrese. And again, back to George. George, they didn't play at the same time. This is the cool part about those two. They did not play at the same time.
No.
Totally separate eras. But Tyrese going through the draft process, thanks to Steve Prohm, connected with George, and George has been his mentor. And now they're best friends.
Did Steve Prohm write like a piece for The Athletic or something?
He did it. Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes,
I haven't
Yeah,
read
I mean, I
it.
think, obviously didn't end great for Steve, but he, from a relationship building standpoint, I mean, he was genuine, and I think that really reflects on those two guys.
Yeah, him and the Halliburtons have remained close.
That's right. That's honestly why Tyrese came here, was because of Prohm. So, but yeah, I think George's mentorship of Tyrese, and then the fact that Tyrese and Brock are buddies, and the best part for me on Friday when Brock signs that big deal, one of the first to celebrate on the internet was Tyrese.
Yeah,
because those guys, they had stats class together at Iowa State. Can you imagine that? Like, if you took that class, what are you doing with
my
your
wife?
life?
Took that class for me.
Well, with them, like there must have been a lot of intelligence in that room.
One math class I had to take at Iowa State.
I think I took mine at DMAC.
I took mine in the summer.
I couldn't handle it.
It was like a summer, like pseudo online, and my wife took that class.
Yeah.
We're past the point of you can't take my degree now.
You can't. You still have those dreams though, where you wake up and
I didn't go to the class the entire semester.
That's not still just me.
I had that dream what does that mean? Can you look that up, Aiden? That's a thing.
We did this like a year ago.
It still happens though.
I still have that dream.
I remember.
Tina says it still happens to Tina. Yeah. Oh my god.
I remember we looked it up, and it's when you're stressed, your brain goes back to a time that you were stressed. And so like for you, it's
I had that, and then crush my teeth. Oh my God!
I have that dream too, where my teeth
Tina, we're
fall
gonna
out.
talk after the show.
My teeth have never fallen
I
out.
crush my teeth and they fall out of my mouth, and I have these dreams constantly.
I have somewhere. Maybe it's related, Aiden, because we're gonna go pure Sigmund Freud here. I have occasional dreams where I'm driving a car, but the car is way out in front, and I don't have any control over it. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, there's got to be something there. Tina's like, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. I blame, honestly, guys, I blame the portal. The portal.
Yeah. Blame agent.
I can't control it over there. It's all the way over there.
All right, so yeah, Brock gets his deal, and now the debate will be like, oh, did he deserve the money?
The
all
cool
that
part,
stuff.
you got 2 Cyclones that are in the top 10 of each of their league in compensation now. How about that?
That's pretty awesome.
I was joking with an old-time Cyclone yesterday, and they're like, yeah, they brought up the whole, remember we celebrated Tuba Rubin with his 3 tackles on special teams, and that's what we could celebrate.
That old Cyclones in the NFL column I used to write took me about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And now, but like it's, in my opinion, other than just strictly winning games, that's Campbell's biggest legacy.
Totally.
Is the Sunday thing. And I went from, you know me, if it ain't purple, I'm not watching on Sunday because I'm watching Big 12 games from the day before on my DVR. Because I'm a college football sicko. I have a really hard time doing that now. Because I want to watch all these guys. Like, I will watch every Texans game this year.
And 100%, the success that Brock Purdy's having has a direct impact on Iowa State's recruiting right now. If the other thing that I saw on Friday, once that was announced, one of the first to share it was Rocco Becht.
I saw Brees.
And Brees did too. But so they're all like, they're still a family.
Like a competitor.
Yeah, he's good. But Rocco said, come to Iowa State. I mean, literally, you're talking about a guy who had very lucrative opportunities to leave this past offseason, but he is looking at the long game here, where he says, I'm at Iowa State. I love it here, just like Brock did. And the real money isn't in chasing a couple $100,000, which again is a lot of money, somewhere else. It's develop me, give me automatic playing time with people I like to be around. I'll be coached well. Then I get to the league and I sign $185 million guaranteed, way more. And that has now worked for Brock, for Will McDonald, Jalen and Jaden, and it just keeps building. And that's the coolest part, because now if I'm a high-end player like a Dom Orange, honestly, this past year, Dom had bigger offers, Rocco had bigger offers, a lot of these guys did.
Will McDonald.
Then you say, wait a second, let me chill out here. I'm going to get in the league regardless because I'm good enough. At that point, I need my reps. I need to develop. I want to be around people that will take care of me, and then I go make my money in the league. And that is huge. Brock's contract has bigger ramifications than anybody realizes beyond the obvious, which is maybe he'll help out Iowa State down the road.
Sure hope so. Well, nonetheless, this has been fun.
What a blast. We're just going to come back every week.
I'm going to make a request. We get a big win in football, and we just come and podcast here in the basement for a post-game show.
Does that work? Cyhawk.
Yeah.
Well, I see some. I see some Cody. I see some bourbon back there somewhere.
Yeah. We'll make it work.
Yeah. And there's.
It doesn't take much. We can just drink the Ames.
And there's carpet, so we can just pass
we'll
out
just
right
sleep
here.
right there.
Yeah.
Bring the kids. They can bring their sleeping bags. No, this was fun. Again, the Hansens. They bid on this.
Go to the bridge home.
Yes. And we'll post all this for you. I'll make sure that Jack.
We got to throw this back in the auction next year, right?
Sure.
This year.
Let's go. Okay. Absolutely. I'm down for anything. Honestly, like we're not. And I love George's mom. Like she's just a absolute rock solid individual, dating back to then.
Yes.
And when I see Allison, it's like she's one of those humans where.
That's George's mom.
Yes. Yeah. You may not have seen her for 5 years, but you're like, oh, it feels like you just saw her a day ago. And you can see where George builds that up, and it's so we're happy to be a part of it, and very lucky to be able to promote it.
The way I'll wrap this up is there's a lot of unwielding things in college athletics, some gross stuff in college athletics, but let's celebrate the awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a young man from Methuen, Massachusetts, came to Iowa State, became a legend, and now he'll be part of Ames for the rest of his life. There's something really cool about that that I think needs to be celebrated by everybody, not just those names, but our entire state of the power that these young people can really have.
Hope those regents are listening.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Thanks to Aiden, when you bring the show on the road. I was explaining this to Mark about like a month ago. It used to be really easy. And then we started bringing like video and stuff, and like it's actually quite challenging to be able to pull off. So we couldn't do it without Aiden because he's the brains behind this entire deal.
Good job.
Yay!
Studio audience.
Live studio audience. Appreciate him. Appreciate all of you guys. Like, subscribe, review, do all that good stuff. Bloom and I will be back.
And if you
on
see Mark
Wednesday.
and Tina in the community of Ames, tell them thank you.
Yes, tell them thank you for their work on all of this. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday. We've got Jeff and Grant coming up as well. We'll see you guys Wednesday here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. Later.